Hi everyone. Uh, and today we are going to start our Ansible session. So for this we have and excuse me, Amil and Kasum Ratnayaka. He's working for New Zealand company and he's joining from New Zealand today. So I'm just hand over in this session to Amila and Kasum Ratnayaka to continue with these lectures and training slides, and they are kind of ready with one sample setup also. Let's see how we continue with this session. Okay, it is up to you.
Thanks, Amit. Okay, then we'll first start with what is the importance of Ansible. So the topics today would be what is Ansible, why we need Ansible, and advantages of using Ansible, and we would also discuss about how it compares with other existing tools, and also we would be covering a demo on how you could use Ansible to automate some of the routine tasks. So when it comes to what is Ansible, there are several facts that we have to consider. It is a very easy to use configuration management, infrastructure provisioning, and automation platform that can be used by anyone, and it can be easily understood. The main difference with Ansible when it comes to other platforms is the ease of use. So there must be a question why we need these automation platforms. The main reason is with the practices of DevOps, it has become mandatory for automated deployment and automated infrastructure provisioning. So that is why all these automation platforms has become available. So here are some of the other configuration management and provisioning tools that are available, and the number of configuration management and automation tools are growing day by day. So actually, when it comes to selecting a framework, it is up to the user and the particular requirement of the particular scenario. And the other important fact is the ease of understanding and ease of learning. If you are already familiar with one of these tools, I bet you would be able to do most of the automation work by that tool itself. But if you are new to automation platform or configuration management platform, Ansible will be a very good fit because it is very easy to understand and easy to get started with. So now I'll go through few of the steps of why Ansible is important and why we should select Ansible. It is a very easy tool to understand, and it is easy to manage very high number of servers continue repeatedly, and it also provides us the one of the most secure configuration management systems because it is based on SSH. It doesn't have any other agents to be installed on the machines, so it builds on top of one of the most tested and most used Linux components. So you don't have to worry about security. And the other one of the other benefits is Ansible is very fast. Also, Ansible has a lot of modules that can be utilized, and number of modules is growing day by day. And another fact that is very beneficial for starters is Ansible is based on YAML. So it is very easy to understand and it is very readable. And one of the other strong points of Ansible is this can be configuration, all the configuration can be controlled from a single point. This should be a single location that we could manage multiple number of servers. So this is the architecture of Ansible. This is just a brief overview. Main orchestration engine consists of the modules and the different Ansible plugins, and it also has a API, and the inventory is the other important part where the modules are interconnected with the inventory. And the other facts that we have to know is the playbooks. The playbooks amalgamates all the above mentioned components. I will not go into detail on the architecture, so let's go ahead and see what's next. So this is about one of the most important component of Ansible. It is the Ansible inventory. So what you can see here is a sample inventory. The inventory is like a location where we can group the set of servers that we want to be controlled by Ansible. There we can simply specify a set of server names that we are using to define the group, and then add set of servers that we want to come under that section. For example, if we have web servers and set of app servers and a caching server, we can list down the web servers in under web as just web servers, and then we can simply specify the cache, and we can create another group to specify the app servers. This inventory file actually is a init file. So the default location of the Ansible inventory file would be etc Ansible host. This actually can be changed in etc Ansible config file. Actually, we'll now move on to the demonstration of how Ansible inventory would look like, and how we could use dynamic Ansible inventory files. So here what I have is a sample Ansible inventory file created. I have uh, three set of groups created in this file. So I have named one as a web servers and the other as app servers. So what I would show is how we can use this inventory file in Ansible, and how we can check and validate this inventory file. I've already got Ansible installed here. So if you want to start by installing Ansible, what you have to do is just use yum install Ansible if you are in a CentOS machine, obviously. So what I would now do is set Ansible to use the inventory file listed here. I'm going to set the inventory as host because it's the file name that we have created the inventory file. This is one of the very important facts because Ansible relies on this inventory to identify to which service it would have to connect to. I'll first try it all. That way I would get all the servers that would come under, that would be in the inventory file.
People asking to increase the font size if possible.
Okay.
You know, generic settings. Personal email. Okay.
We'll try that next.
So
Is it too?
they are telling like it is kind of difficult to look at. Control shift plus. Okay. So
I hope it is now more clearer.
one more please. Okay, thanks.
So I would go back to what uh, we were earlier. So here what I'm trying to do is list whatever the content that is in our inventory. So therefore I'm using this all option, so I would get information about all the servers that are in the inventory. So if we check the host file, we can see there are two other groups. So just imagine I just want to check on one. So I can just specify what is the group name and use this list host. It is same for all the groups. So whenever you first create the inventory file, make sure that you point to your inventory by adding Ansible configuration file in your current directory. If I show it to you, I have an ansible.config file. This is where I mentioned the location of the inventory file, and the whatever you add in the groups under the inventory, you can just verify by list hosts. So another advantage of Ansible is that as well as using these static inventories, we can use dynamic inventories. So actually for this is example, I'll be using a couple of scripts. I go into the inventory. Here I created the host file which only includes the web servers, and these scripts would are configured to generate a dynamic inventory. So I'll just show you the output. So what we got is the output for the first inventory file. There we specify the web servers and the hosts that would come under the web servers. So we have server A as the web server. So if I change into the other one, The other file has workstation configured under it, and it would try to list out all the available servers also. Actually, for this demonstration, there's a little problem with this Python scripts because the order of these scripts are not in proper order. Since this all files should be executed first, and then the file that would output the web server should be executed after that. So I would change that. What would have happened is I didn't do it and try to use the inventory, is because web servers would also be under all the files, and because the first file was ended with A, it would be executing the web server's inventory file first, and the file with all the inventory listing last. So eventually it would have failed. So I've changed the order. Now what I'm going to do is change the Ansible inventory into our inventory folder. So now I'll try to verify the contents of the inventory. Okay, this is what I wanted to get rid of earlier. See. Okay, now we can get the in content of the inventory properly. So what has happened the earlier time is that because those files were starting with the same value, same in the alphabetical order, it has failed to get the proper order of the scripts. So if I only want to check for the web servers, I could do that as I did earlier. But here the difference is the inventory is generated dynamically. So now I'll move on to some of the basic Ansible commands that we could use for day-to-day tasks, and these are usually called Ansible ad-hoc commands. So I'll go through few Ansible modules and several set of Ansible ad-hoc commands that we can use day to day. So first what I'm going to do is check whether our server A, which was listed as a web server, has a web server configured actually. So let's see whether it's running a web server. As you can see here, what I've done here is executing the module named command, and this is actually similar to uh, terminal commands that we execute. With this command module we can run any command that we could run in a Linux terminal. With pointing out the web servers, I would only be doing running this command against web servers. So I'll just show what would happen if I wanted to run this against all the servers. It seems I'm not added connected to that workstation server. Let me change the inventory and we'll try with the if we have another server available. So here, what we can see here is that we have executed the command against two servers, being one being server A and one being server B. So I just want to stop the server from here. So what should I do? I can use the system module. I'll change it to web server. So what I've done here is use the module incorrectly. So what we can do in a scenario like this. So usually if you don't have the internet connection with you, and or you just don't want to leave the console, the best option is to use the Ansible docs. So let's see what are the available options. So here I can see that the service module is there. So I'll check what are the options I can use in this service module. So this consists of all the Ansible documentation that is available in Ansible website. It gives you a description of the arguments that can be used and how we should use this module, and it also has a good set of examples on how to use the module. So as you can see here, it describes how this service module should be used. First we should set the service and name of the service, and then the state that we desire. The options available for all these parameters are described above, so you can always refer that if you don't have access to internet. So I'll change the command accordingly. So the problem here is I have not used sudo here. So we'll have to escalate privileges. So if you go into the options available, you can see that there's an option called using become. Okay, it seems I have run into a little issue with the configuration setup. Seems I have not added the configuration escalation properly. So it's asking for the password here. So for what we would do is that Kasun has actually prepared a session on playbooks. So we'll move into that section for now, and then after that, I'll continue this section.
Thank you, Amilan. So, so let me give the control to Kasun in order to continue with his lab sessions and slide presentations. Kasun, it's now up to you to continue with
Yeah.
this conversation.
Thank you, Damit. Can you guys hear me? Damit, can you hear me? Damit?
I can hear you.
Damit, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, clearly.
Sorry. Actually, I thought you guys can't hear me. So then I will get the access. I think I can share my screen. Yeah. Okay. I think you can have you can see my screen. Yeah. Actually, Amila described about the basic things in Ansible. So, what is the Ansible advantage? What are the advantages of Ansible? Why we are using Ansible? The basic things, and also he described about some ad hoc commands. So, uh, in this session, I think he forgot something. So, I will describe about some things we have to know about when we are creating. First, we have to when we are installing the Ansible. So first, we have to think about if you are a Linux user, or it can be a Ubuntu flavor, it can be a Yum. So you can install using package manager like apt or Yum. So you can install using Yum, and you can check whether. So if you want to install the particular Ansible package, so you can download that package and install it. So otherwise, first you have to think about, so Ansible need Python. So you have to install Python in the client server. Otherwise, let's say if you are going to um, creating using cloud infrastructure, let's say it can be AWS, it can be Red Hat, or it can be VMware. When you are spawning instance, that Linux instance, definitely that images should be have Python. So otherwise you have to manually install it. Let's say in the continuous integration and continuous pipeline process, definitely before you integrate the Ansible or any other automation tool, you should have to install that client side configurations. So advantages in Ansible compare with the Chef or Puppet. In the Puppet or Chef, we have to install the that Puppet client, and we have to configure all advanced things in there. But in Ansible, that's very easy. You have to connectivity for that. You should have to connectivity for the Ansible that clients. So it will be it should be SSH connection. So in this case. So then I'm conduct my other slides. Okay, so now you know about basic things in Ansible. So Ansible, in the Ansible, compare with other Chef or Puppet automation tools. Compare with those things in Ansible, the advantage is no need to think about the advanced configurations. Compare with that's the main advantage. I think Damit, I think your noise also come with the presentation. Can you guys mute your voice? Is that easy for my conducting the presentation? Yeah, thank you very much. So, okay. So in this presentation, I'm going to first describe a bit what are the playbooks. In the Ansible, the main component in the playbooks compare with other tools. If you guys using Chef or Puppet, if you are using Chef, you guys using cookbooks, and you are using knife commands like right that. So Amila describe in Ansible how to use the Ansible Ad-Hoc commands, the same like that. So knife commands you can run the if you are going to troubleshoot in the Ansible environments, that is very easy to handle using Ansible Ad-Hoc commands. You can troubleshoot. You can use ping module, and you can use basic other similar modules to get the output, and you can check whether that environment is properly running, or what are the issues when you are applying your playbooks. So okay, in the playbook session, so playbook is the main component in Ansible. It's like a consolidated task. It's configured with single YAML file. So let's say I will describe you the small infrastructure. It can be one web server and one database server and one load balancer. Think about that kind of infrastructure. So you are going to automate. You are going to build that infrastructure. In that infrastructure, first you have to think about what you are going to do. You are going to create that infrastructure using automation tool. You can do it in Ansible. If you are going to deploy the code, you can do it. First you have to write down a run sheet. Let's say you are going to install these packages, and these are your configurations, and this is the deployment process. First we have to think about that. I'm not going to describe about how to do it, but I'm going to describe about if you guys have a plan, then how to do it in the Ansible. I describe about that one. So let's say you have a very small infrastructure, one web server, one DB server, and one load balancer. You are going to make it in using Ansible. So why I'm using that kind of small infrastructure? Because that is very easy to give some understanding how to use the automation tool to implement it, rather than presenting this presentation and describe about the components. That's very easy to you guys can get the understand how to use that Ansible. So in the Ansible, I first describe about what is the playbook. In the playbook, you have to define what are the tasks you are going to run. So it can be like let's say you are in your Apache server. You have to install the Apache before you are going to install the Apache. Let's say it's a Ubuntu Linux server, so you have to update your repository and think about if you are using public repository, you have to update it, and you have to install the packages, and you have to configure the Apache configuration. If you want to customize it, you have to. If you want to put the virtual host, you have to create it. Those things are the main task. So these are your tasks. You can write down in Ansible using Ansible very easily. And if you're going to write down in Ansible, what are the things you have to think about? So let's say any other languages, if you are going to create that infrastructure using Chef or Puppet, you have to think about that. what are the cookbooks and what are the resources you are going to use. Likewise, that in Ansible you have to use Ansible modules for that one. So various kind of modules are there. So according to your requirement, you can use your modules. So I will show you in the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen. I think you guys already have my screen. Okay. This is the Ansible main site. So in the Ansible main site, you can see there's a document files are there. So in that document, you can see index, module index. In the module index, you can see what are the current modules, public modules you can use when you are using Ansible. So you don't need to worry about the module commands, and you don't need to you don't need to memorize those commands. So you can use this document. Actually, as Amila said, you can use as a Linux user, you can use documents and like Ansible docs. But if you have an internet connection, that's easy to search and easy to find out the Ansible modules in here. Let's say if you are going to file modules, so you can see what are the file modules are there. Let's say we are going to one module and we can see what is the arrangement of that modules. So in this module session, you can see the options. In the options, you can see what are the parameters you can pass and what are the requirement. In the requirement, you can see yes, no, and default. The default means if you are not mentioned that component in here, so no need to. That is the default value. So and also in the choose and also the comment section area, compare with Chef and Puppet documentation. So I really like this documentation. This is very easy to understand, and you can see the examples here. So then you can get some understand. Let's say we are going to first example. So file. If you are going to let's say you are going to create a file in remote server, you can use this module. So in the path means where you're going to create that file, and the ownership you have to mention, and you have to mention the group, and you have to mention what is the permission. So in this module you can use this. So if you want to you can see what are the advanced things you have to mention it here. So I don't going to describe with those all the examples. I just give you idea. I think you can, if you're going to this Ansible doc site, you can get some understanding how it's defining, how it's if you want to go to any other modules, the same structure is there, and you can go through with one by one modules, and you can see how we can configure those modules. The compare with other tools, advantage of Ansible. So I use Ansible to configure routers. I use Ansible for configure firewalls. That's the advantage. Any other device, that device have the SSH connectivity, you can use Ansible. And a lot of modules are there. The advantage of the modules, so if you want to write a module in Ansible, you can do it. So if you are a starter, you don't need to think about that. So you are a starter, so you can use the previous modules. So these modules, a lot of modules using Python. If you want to write down a module in Ansible, no need to think about the language. You can use whatever language so to write down a module. I will show you how the file is structured in Ansible. So let's jump into the presentation again. Okay, so I just described about the Ansible modules, and you have understanding what is Ansible module. Just imagine a picture. So then the other thing is the variables. So in the variables, there's another section. I will describe you how to define variables and how to pass the variables in the Ansible playbook. I will define what are the. I will describe what are the options, that one. So when we are going to create when you guys going to create a playbook, you have to think about. So what are the modules you are using and what are the variables you have to think about. So in this case, the variables. In this case, if you are a keen and if you are a expert in Ansible, so you can think about how to define that variable in proper way. So I will describe with that. So the other thing is the template. What is the template? Template means, let's say you are going to install. I will describe in the simple example. You are going to install Apache. So let's say you can use in Ansible apt module for install Apache. So then you want to configure, you want to copy some configuration file. You can copy it. That's no worry. Why we are using templates? Let's say you want to change that. You want to change that file according to the variables. Let's say you have multiple Apache servers. You want to configure them multiple Apache servers in various ways. You want to make one Apache server in free fork npm method. So other server you want to configure the worker mode. So that's kind of advanced configuration. So you can use one playbook and you can define templates, different templates for different servers, and you can use actually that templates the file you use in Jinja 2. Actually, Jinja 2 is the main template format. I will describe about that. That's not difficult. And another component is loops. Why we are using loops in Ansible? Let's say you are going to make tasks. You are repeat your task again and again. You can use loops like for loops. If you are a programmer, you know for loops, nested loops. A lot of loops are there. Very simple. Let's say you have you are a starter. Think about you want to install multiple packages. You have to mention that multiple packages to in one playbook. You can use simply loops and conditions. The conditions means if you guys going to create an Ansible playbook, so you have to think about when you are running it. Let's say if you are going to install Apache in you are going to write a Ansible playbook. It will support RedHat and Apache Linux and also Windows. Let's say that kind of flavors in your infrastructure. So in that kind of situation, you want to install, you want to define your task in different ways, because different flavors use different packages. In that sense, you can use the condition. You can check whether what is the OS, and you can define the task. That's kind of I will describe those main components, how to use it in simple examples and Vault. So in Ansible, in the continuous integration and continuous deployment world, you have to use automation tools, and in the automation tools should be in centralized centralize it. You have to, let's say you have 5-6 members in your team. You have configuration repository. You manage that repository, and one guy's changed something and another guy's changed something, like kind of that scenarios. You should have to manage Git SVN repository to manage your infrastructure as a code. And this kind of situations, you have passwords. Definitely at that time you have to encrypt your data. In Ansible, they have Ansible Vault. So using that one, you can encrypt your data and you can share. You can put into the your repository. No worry about the password and stuff. And if you want to run that Ansible command, you can put the password at that time. So that's very easy to manage the encrypted data. Like as example, if you are a chef guy, you are using the encrypted data bags. So this is the same thing in Ansible playbooks. And another component is the Ansible Galaxy. So that is very interesting. So if you are a contributor, you can use Ansible Galaxy. Actually, Chef and Puppet also have that kind of repositories. You can share your cookbooks, and you can reuse that cookbooks. Likewise, in Ansible also have Ansible Galaxy. Using Ansible Galaxy command, you can download the playbooks and you can reuse it. If you want to share it, you can use as a repository management for Ansible. That is the Ansible Galaxy. Okay, I think this session you can get some understanding about the Ansible components. I'm going to next slide. I think you guys can see the directory, Ansible directory structure here, and you can see what are this is the file system for the Ansible. In Ansible, Amila describe about the inventory. Inventory is the main component which have all the target groups. Let's say it can be a host, it can be device which have SSH connectivity. Actually, you see the Amila used domain internal domains for the Ansible inventory. That is the good way to put into inventory. So if you have multiple environments, you can define multiple inventories. In the inventory, not only the defining the IPs, you can pass the variables, and according to your environment, you can pass the values. Let's say some database server SSH port is not 22, or it can be whatever. Where is a, if you want to use another port, you can define it in that inventory, that database section. You can pass that value. Likewise, you can use Ansible inventory for the defining the variables. But the good way is, if you are going to use the variables in Ansible, you can use this. You can see the folder structure in here. You can see group was. You can use group was. What is the group was? Group was means, let's say you have roles, Ansible roles. I will discuss about in next slides. Okay, then I'm not going to describe this thing in here. I will describe when I talk about the roles. So, and in Ansible file directories, you can see libraries. In libraries, you can define the your custom modules. Let's say if you want to write a module, you can put it to here. And also the site YAML is the main file. Like when you're executing your playbook, this is the main file. All the things. This is the file you are run. So these are the other files already there. The other playbooks are there. So if you want to run, if you want to include those playbooks in site YAML, you can include it. If you want to run it, those YAML files, what you want, you can run it whatever you want. That's not a problem. But in normally you are going to run, you are going to creating the Ansible playbooks. The main running file is the site YAML file and the roles. So in the role section, definitely I have to discuss about what is the role. So in Ansible playbook, let's say you have, I described about the infrastructure. We have 3 servers. You are going to create a Ansible playbook for that. Install Ansible playbook for that, configuring those 3 servers. You are going to write one Ansible YAML file to you are going to write a one YAML file. That is very difficult, because if you are going to write a one YAML file and you can put all the tasks in that file, that is very difficult to read. And let's say the new administrator come to the team, so he can understand, we can understand. So to that, so to simplify the Ansible playbook, you can use roles. Roles means that roles also have the same file structure. But let's say, I think I have to give you a good example for that one. Let's say you have 3 servers. One is web server, other one is the database, other one is the load balancer. You are going to install some packages. Let's say you list down what are the packages you have to install. The app server and Apache server and load balancer and database server. You can see common packages are there. You can define a base role. Base role means you can define what are the packages you want to install. So you can use base role for the all servers, and you can define a Apache role for the Apache server, and you can define another separate role for MySQL or database server. That's how the roles, that is the advantage of the roles. In the roles also you have the task. In the roles you can put into your task in the main YAML file. In here, there's a handlers. Okay, I'm going to next slide. I think that's the better way to describe these things. The next line you can see, I talk about the Ansible task. Ansible tasks in here, you can see Ansible task folder have the main YAML file, or the site YAML file also. You can define the task. So let's say you are going to define task in here. Task is the actually that is the main thing you are going to run in Ansible playbook. You can let's say you are going to install a package. you can write down in Ansible in order by order. You can you can define those tasks in Ansible. As example, in here you can see first you have to mention the host target file in here. This the name is, you can, when we are running the Ansible playbooks, that name is showing the output. So I will show you that one. So let's say in this example, your target group is web servers. These are the tasks. You can put the task in here one by one. First install the Nginx, then configure the Nginx, then start the Nginx. These are the 3 tasks. Okay, the first one using the apt module to install the Nginx. The second one using the template. You can see the Jinja file. So and it's copied to the Nginx location for the particular server, and it's notify the reload. Notify reload means the handler. The handler means if you are going to create a playbook. So in this case, so if you want to restart the services, so that is the point you have to think about. Let's say in the continuous integration process, you are running your playbooks or your automation tools every time. So if you are going to change something in the code, you have to run it to apply the particular servers. In that case, in Ansible, if you're running that same Ansible playbook the first time and second time and third time, it not running every time in the task, not running every time. Let's say you are going to run this playbook. So first time is install the Nginx. The second time, if come to this task, is check whether that Ansible module check, apt module check, that Nginx already installed. That means is present. That it's not going to do anything. So in this case, it's going to next state. If somebody change this configuration file, so if it is not there, no need to change it. If it is changed, that is the notify reload. So that's why if you change the configuration now, you have to reload the service. That's how the handlers work. That is the advantages of the handlers. It's only check the state and trigger the that handlers. That is the advantage. I will show you when I am writing the playbook. You can get some understanding. So, and I think this automation scripts and stuff, so you should have a good knowledge. If you are going to write down a module or write down a playbook, you should have to think about, you should have a good knowledge how to manually configure those things. I mean, otherwise you can't, you get a trouble. So if you don't have any idea about how to manually configure and what are the issues comes, then you can get a trouble to, if you are a starting guy, first you have to get some understanding of the Linux. And if you are not, you are a keen guy in the Linux, you can practice it, and then you can troubleshooting one by one. So, and this the next part is Ansible variables. Ansible variables.
Kasun, sorry to disturb you, Kasun.
Yeah.
Let me explain something. So, guys, if you have like any confusions regarding this presentation, we have labs ready, labs with us on GitHub. So I have pasted it on our like live chat also. So let me yeah. So let me share my screen now. So as you can see over there, we have uploaded our all source codes over here, so that you can have a look. Okay, so this is our GitHub page, github.com DevOps LK, DevOps LK, and from this thing you can get all the labs materials which we have published throughout this entire presentation. So you can continue, Kasun.
Yeah, thank you, Damit. So I will actually, I also plan to describe those things in the next slide. So because when I started, thank you, Jamit. I think if you guys join with this session, so you can go through those labs and you can download the whole code, and then you can do it with myself also. So okay, thank you, Jamit. I will conduct next slide. Okay. So Ansible variables. The previously I said so. A lot of methods you can use to pass the Ansible variables. If you are running an Ansible playbook, so you can use you can define it in the task also. Otherwise, if you want to pass it in the Ansible command, you can pass it. And but the best way is, if you are a beginner, no need to think about that thing. You can pass anywhere your variables. But if you are going to do it in proper way, you have to think about, oh, where is the best place to put into your variables. So what is the best place, what is the best practices in when you are using Ansible. So I will explain you. Actually, this is the introduction session. We are not going to in deep in the this session, because a lot of new guys are there. I think actually I think we can conduct another session for best practices, and we can create new labs for that thing. So these are the main things in the Ansible. So all configuration, when you are installing the Ansible, the basically Ansible configuration going on, configuration file in the etc Ansible cfg. So I think I have to jump into my terminal. That is the best way, because I talk a lot. Okay, guys. First, I think I have to share my terminal list. Okay. Okay. I think share my terminal. Yeah, in this terminal, you can see there's two terminals. I use Terminator. So first, sorry about that. First, I have to give some understanding about the lab. Okay. This is actually in this slide. This is our lab. This is a small lab. So we have control server and we have one web server and one database server. The control server is the server we installed Ansible. So it's not like a big infrastructure like compared with the Chef4 Puppet. We don't need to worry about the Ansible server. It's in, you can use you have to install Ansible. You can use your own machine. Not need to think about Ansible. You can you have to maintain your code, and you can download it, and you can run whatever you want. So you can use CI box to run that Ansible commands, like whatever teamcity, rundeck, you can run it. So if you want to put a pipeline like Conco, so pipeline tool, you can use it. So in this session, I'm going to introduce a very simple lab session here. You can see I just use you can use whatever flavor CentOS. So Ubuntu, we have to install Ansible, and that's only neat. Actually, in this session, I'm using AWS because that's very easy. So I think the previously Chaturanga and Patum, the last session, I think you guys they give some understanding about the AWS, and you can use free tier to make this lab. So as I told you, this is our lab infrastructure. So I'm gonna jump into my. I can show you in my. Give me a second. I will share you. Yeah, this is my AWS account. So I spawned two instances. So one is Ansible server. Is Ubuntu one. I install Ansible. The second one is the web server. I didn't create it yet. DB server. I'm going to create it in here. So then you guys can see the how I'm going to create it. Okay. Let's jump into my Linux terminal, and I will show you. I think in the repository there's a Ansible playbook folder. In this Ansible playbook folder, I share the my Ansible code, and you can see very small Ansible playbook is there. Okay, nice. I think I use white because that's easy to show you guys. If you want to increase my font size, please let me know, Damit. So you can interrupt if you guys can't.
Yeah, better if you can increase the font size.
Okay.
I think Shift Control plus plus or something.
Yeah, I can use that one. It's not working in Terminator, man. Anyway, I can use this one. Okay. I think you can see, because I use two terminals when I run the Ansible, I can show you in the client side so how it's happened. So okay, I think you can see this term this this is my Ansible server, and this is the web server I use, and I think okay, this is my web server. Actually, these two servers, what I did is this is my Ansible server. I create a I create Ubuntu server in here. It's a small T2 micro server, and I install Ansible using apt command. apt get install Ansible, and you can see the version. Same as normal Linux command, you can use minus version. You can see the Ansible. I use 2.0.0.2, and you can see the Ansible config file. I will show you that Ansible config file. What is the advantage of Ansible config file? A lot of variables are there. You can change those variables. So I'm not going to one by one those things, but I will let you know the few things. So can you remember when Amila runs one of a command, you see the it's not working because of non-host file. It says you have to save the key in a non-host file. Because of that, so SSH, you always log into new host. It's automatically save the that key in non-host file. So you can if you put in false here, it's not going to check it. So that is if you are using if you are creating instance using Ansible, you have to put it here, because otherwise, if you are jumping to one Ansible machine in first time, it will say the same error. So, and second thing is private key file. So the main thing is the Ansible, you have to configure SSH connectivity. So you can when you are using the cloud infrastructure, you can use SSH or private public authentication, and you can use PEM file. In AWS, you can use actually in this CNF file, I define what is the PEM file to communicate those servers. I use in this Ansible. I use this PEM file to connect to make the connectivity, because I create AWS instance in using that same key. And if you are not using AWS, what you can do is you can spawn two instance, and you can change the SSH keys, and using SSH commands. So you can create very simple. So what you can do is you can using SSH keygen, you can in your control server, you can create a SSH key using that command. And you can using SSH copy ID, or this is the basic Linux. Actually, you should have to make a connectivity using SSH with those three servers. That's the main thing. I'm not going to do it now, because this is not a Linux session here. Okay, because let's say I have the connectivity for those two servers. This is my Ansible central control server. This is my Ansible web server. I'm using this one. So as a web server. So okay, let's check the inventory. The main part is the inventory. In here you can see some files are there, so I will go through one by one. First go through the host file. Yeah, you can see I create a static host file. Amila said we can do it like dynamic inventory. We can do it like that. If you are a AWS guy, you can use EC2 Python script. There's a available Python script. You can download it and you can run that, and you can generate the dynamic inventory. If you are using DHCP, you can use Coblo. And if you are using another kind of a VMware, or there's a lot of script, you can generate the inventory file and in dynamically. And this case I'm using static inventory. So what I can do is I can put my app server here. This is the web server. You can define it app server, and that is the IP for that app server. And it is a DB server. You can put IP in here, whatever IP you want. And you can, if you want another servers like LB servers, you can put the IP. What is the IP you want? Like, is the example. No need to worry about the IPs. I will show you how to add that IPs. We have only one server now. This is the app server. First, before run SSH Ansible command, we'll see if the connectivity is there. You can SSH this particular IP, and you have to put the PEM file and check whether that connectivity is there. Yeah, it's connecting. -2. You can see I log into that server. I already log in. I'm going to log out that one. This is my, now you know the connectivity is there. What I did is I just use SSH, but no need to worry about in Ansible. You can use Ansible Ad-Hoc commands here. Ansible Ad-Hoc commands here. What you can do is you can use Ansible Ansible ping command. You have to put Ansible ping and -m, and what is the server you have to target. I put app, but it's not work. Why it's not work? It says no inventory is there. You have to mention the inventory, and that's also not working. Why it's not working? Because of that module, you need to mention the user. Can you remember that Amila also struggling with that one? So yeah, it's work because I have to mention Ubuntu. What that module does is it's like Ansible have a module called ping. It check the connectivity and put the output POM. It's the simple module we can run, and we can check whether the connectivity is there, or if you want to check whether your inventory is working, you can run this module and you can check whether it's working or not. So before we talking about the more and more, I just give you some understanding how this Ansible work. So this module, you can use verbose, and you can see how this module is working. So you can see when I put -VV, it's going to verbose mode. It's what it does is first it's check the it runs setup. Setup means another module. I can show you. It's check whether the communication is there, and you can see this is the, when I run this setup, you can see what are the it shows some outputs. It's gather all the facts, and it says what are the facts in this target point. You can see the IPs. You can see a lot of information, so like what is the Linux version, and what is the IPs, what is the subnets, and you can use these outputs as a variables also. I'm not going to go into in deep, and I'm not going to go into advanced. You can see the SSH public keys, and all the things are there. So before running to Ansible, so first Ansible check the connectivity, and if the connectivity is okay, then it's going to run that other task. That's how it's work. Okay. Now you have an understanding what is Ansible, how Ansible basic modules runs. You have to put you want inventory, and you have to run it using Ansible. You can run through the inventory. You can run any other modules. So this is the ad hoc command. So in this lesson, I create a small uh, basic playbook in here. You can see this is my playbook. So in this playbook, I am going to describe basic components in Ansible and how to use it. And so if you are a new guy, you can understand, I think, all the components, and you can run it with me actually, if you have an instance ready. First of all, if you are creating a playbook, so it's a YAML format, so very basic format. If you want to verify your code, you can use actually whatever YAML validator. You can see the first you have to mention the target group. It says app. That means if you have 5, 6 app servers or 100 app servers, you can run it using that Ansible playbook. The serial means if you want to run it parallelly, you can put 10. This playbook run in the 10 servers once. If you want to, you can put percentage wise. If you want to 50-50, you have first if you are doing some kind of a blue green. Not blue green actually, one by one server you want to upgrade in your infrastructure, you can use that kind of percentage. So it's shut down one instance, half of instance, and upgrade that instance, and you can use that advanced methods for that one. The remote user is the user you are going to run, and become is the previously it's used sudo. Sudo means if you want to run it in admin user, definitely if you are going to install the packages, you have to run it in admin users. That's how the Ansible 2.0 actually they changed that name conditions. Like previously they use sudo, now you use become. The variable file is the file you are going to set up all the variables. You can see task. This task use apt module. You have to if you run in Ubuntu, you have to update your repository. That is the task you are going to do. If you are on apt-get update, this is the task you are going to do. Very simple. You have to mention the apt and caches. That is done. So why I'm just name it here. You can name, and when you are running it, you can see what are the tasks you are running. So this is the loop. If you are going to use install multiple packages, you can use this command. So you can see the name is item. So item means it's like a it's like a loop. It's going to install one by one item, Apache, HTOP, whatever packages. These are small packages I just installed because I want to show you how to install that packages. No worry about that packages. So this is the template file. So I will show you that template file. If you want to change the Apache port, let's say this is the file. It is in templates. This is the port file. If you want to change the Apache configuration, you can mention it. This is Jinja. This is the Jinja configuration. You can define variable as this, and when Ansible run, they put the variable in here and it copy into that particular location. And I have put a virtual host in here. This is very basic configuration. I'm going to create a virtual host and I put a domain, and that's how. If you want to change the domain, you have to change the variable and you can spawn a new instance. That's how it's work. So I'm going to do a little bit fast because time is far away. Okay. This one use Ansible Apache module. So if you guys know about Apache, you have to enable the rewrite. If you are going to rewrite enable, you can use this one. I use notify restart because if you are change the Apache module, definitely you have to reload it. That's why I reload this one. You can't see the handlers here. I put handlers into the handlers folder. That is the best practice. And directory, I have to create a directory because the virtual host belongs to that directory. A copy file, I used one of copy module. You have to put resource, source, and destination. This is the module. If you want to go through these modules, you can go to the Ansible docs and you can see what are the variables what are the things you have to pass. And I put site enable. This is the Apache configuration. You can enable site if you are if you are configure one of site, you can have to enable it, and that's how it's run. Basic configuration. You are installing Apache server and site enable, and you put a new Apache configuration. And let's say you are a shared hosting, you want to create multiple virtual hosts, you can use this Ansible playbook in here. And how we going to run this one? Just I show you the tree. This is the tree for my Ansible folder. You can see I use file. I put index file in here. This in index.html, copy into that particular directory, and I use. Don't worry about the roles. I didn't use roles. In template, I copy the templates. And variables, I define variables in here. If you want to change it, you can change it. I'm going to change it to 999. Okay. I'm going to start the Apache 999 port, and I'm going to put the domain name devops.lk.net. Okay. I think you can get understanding what I'm going to do. So, okay, I'm going to run this one. How to run this one? If you're going to run this one, you can use Ansible Playbook commands. Minus self, you can see what are the commands you can pass. So I just run this one. -I have to push the host file. What is the host file? I'm going to run it in app servers. Okay. I mentioned in the host, actually I mentioned in the playbook, it's only run in the app servers. Okay, I put the host file and I had to put the site file. I put verbose, and let's see how it's happened. This is my Apache server. I'm going to run it. You can see I'm running verbose mode, don't worry about, a lot of things are there. So you can see green color, it's the yellow color is the changing one. You can see 9 OKs, change 3 because I previously I run this script, so I change the only the ports. That port configuration is changed. This is my that host file. I will show you what are the configuration is here. I put in the Apache configurations. We can see Apache is installed here. Apache CTL -s. You can see. I think that's better if I can do it like this. Okay, you can see a lot of files are there. Again, you can see because previously I run 8003, now I run 999 port. You can see netstat command. What is the port you are going to run it? Oh, still it's 9883 because we'll see what is the case for that one. You change the event. Wow. Okay. I can. Let's say I'm going to change it to 8080. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to run it in verbose mode. Yeah, you can see it's changed. Copy file and host configurations. We'll see what's happening. Yeah, you can see the port is changed to 80. Let's see. We'll see the Apache configs. In the site enable available, and you can see a lot of things are there because I change a lot of domains in here. Yeah, it's 80. Let's see. I manually restart. Okay, sorry. Let's go into troubleshoot why it's not properly not getting the port in here. Yeah, it's changed. Let's see why it's not changing the port using Ansible. Seems like let's see. Because I restarted, that's why it's there. Okay, let's see. Actually, I add into let's see the HTML file is there. What I did is I put a host record in my machine because I don't have a domain DNS. I put a host name in here. I point it to this domain, and we'll see that HTML file is copied into that domain. I think I didn't share my screen to you guys. I will show you. I think you can see this is my screen because I didn't have a DNS server, so I just changed my host name, and you can see this one is changed. So it's very basic thing I change. Then I'm going to run quickly another playbook, and okay, I'm going to jump into my terminal again. Sorry, I have to share only. I have two screens. I have to share only my terminal. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to show you another basic Ansible script. How to using like AWS modules to spawn instance. You can, if already instance is there, so you can configure it. But what about if you want to spawn instance and you want to you want to create an elastic IP for that instance? This is the one of a very very easy module, the EC2 module. So you can use that EC2 module and you can spawn an instance, and you can assign an elastic IP. So this is if you are using AWS, you can use this. If you are using a Rackspace, you can use Rackspace module. If you are using VMware, you can use VMware modules you can call VMware API or AWS API, and you can spawn instance. You can actually, I share you my screen. Previously you can see I have only two servers. Now I'm going to create another DB server, and using this playbook, what I'm going to do is actually this playbook it's how this run is actually I using AWS role in here. I can show you. It's very difficult to share my screen one by one, so I'm going to share my entire screen. Okay, then that is very easy to handle those things. You can see this is my AWS console. So this Ansible server have the AMI. I assign a AMI role in here. Then that is the best practice. If you are spawning instance in your AWS, and if you are using Ansible, you can assign a role into your Ansible server, and you can give the whole access for that particular machine, and you can spawn instance, you can do anything. So that is the very good control option for that one. Otherwise, if you are using AWS keys, that's not good for the configuration. If you guys know about AWS, actually the previously Chaturanga and Patum discussed those things. I'm not going to discuss those things now. This machine have access to AWS API, and using that access, I'm going to create another instance. Okay. Now we have only two instances. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this EC2 playbook, and you can see this is also very simple. You can put the task. I define variables in here. That's not good. Actually, you can put a use server in another separate file, because this is very simple one. If you guys want to debug, you can use debug module, and you can see what I did is in this. What I'm going to do is in this playbook, I'm going to create an instance, and I register that instance. Register means if you create that instance, you can get the output. Ansible show the output. Ansible return the output. Actually, in that output have all the information for the particular EC2. Then you can get that particular instance ID, and you assign elastic IP to that instance. That's how it's work. I'm going to run this one. Actually, this one I'm running with localhost, because this localhost machine have the access for the AWS. I'm going to run it in here. I can use localhost. Localhost, and I can mention the playbook. Okay, I'm going to run it, and I share you my screen. Actually, you guys can see the AWS console. When it is, you can see the new instance is spawned, and it's I mentioned the all security groups, and you can see it have this IP, and it's get the elastic IP, and we'll see what's happened. You can see this is the output for the that instance. That output, it assign a new IP to this machine. You can see it create a EC2 elastic IP and assign that particular machine, and its name also change. Actually, likewise, if you have infrastructure, you want to automate whole infrastructure, not only that EC2. So if you are using AWS, that is not good way to create an instance. You can use CloudFormation or to manage those things. So you can use a lot of AWS services. I'm not talking about the AWS services, but if you want to do something using AWS EC2 module, you can use this module. I think you can see the changes, two changes. Okay, so that means if something is going wrong, you can see it is actually, then you can see there's a warning. So if Ansible update their new versions, they change some parameters, and if you are using all parameters, you have to change it. So sometimes it's put a warning. So that's how you can see and it shows warnings. So if you want to change it, using that warnings, you have to change you have to change the playbook in best practice. You have to change it actually in better way. You can see these colors, the different colors, because this one, the green color, it shows the output, and if it is changed, and these are the elastic IPs assigned to that instance. um, okay. I think you guys get some understanding about how to use Ansible playbooks for various conditions. There is very introduction session actually. I think you get some understanding about that practical session. If you want to do it more things, we can go through another lesson, and we can share you guys. This is a very simple. Sorry about that. I have to share my screen again. Actually, I'm using Linux. Linux not supported that sharing one of my screen. That is the difficulty. I had to use the application in Hangout. Okay. I think I talk about the variables, and actually the wallet. So this is the commands. If you want to encrypt, you can create vault using these commands, and you can encrypt the data. I'm not create a lab session for this one. This is very basic. So, but this is very advanced in the when we are creating the new roles and the big infrastructure. So this is not a good time to discuss of this kind of advanced things. So we can create a new session for that one. So that's the best. In this lesson, you can get some understanding about the how to run the Ansible playbook, and what are the Ad-Hoc commands, and what is the infrastructure in Ansible. And uh, when we are going to talk about in advanced infrastructure, we can use Ansible roles. What is the Ansible role means? Ansible roles, it's the same. Actually, I previously discussed about the Ansible roles. If you have multiple servers, you can define according to the requirement. You can define the base role and Apache role and database role. Likewise, you can group into your requirement, and you can reuse those roles when you are deploying your code or when you are making your infrastructure. So this is the lab session I did. Okay. I think I have to say one thing. I am going to share one of Ansible Galaxy. Sorry guys, my sharing thing always make troubles. Okay. Okay. This is my screen. If you are going to log into galaxy.ansible.com, you can see the Ansible Galaxy. This is the repository. If you want to share any playbooks, if you want to download any playbook, you can use Ansible commands. If you want to make a file system, you can use like Ansible Galaxy init command to make the role file system. No need to think about it. It's very simple command. You can make your own directory, and let's say if you want to download let's say I'm going to browse something in here. Let's say you want to use MySQL server. So you can see a lot of MySQL server Ansible playbooks are there. You can use them. You can see using this command, you can download this playbook, and likewise you can see using Git repository, you can see the playbooks, how it's happened. So you can see the task files in here. I think this is yeah, you can see this is the one of Ansible playbooks. Likewise, you can download these things. If you want to change it, you can change it. If you want to share your Ansible playbook, you can use it. You can reuse those things. Likewise, you can contribute the community. There's good advantage for sharing your knowledge, and according to the requirement, you can release versions. That is very fantastic thing. I think today you get some understanding about Ansible, and if you are a new guy for Ansible, you can start it. I think David and guys, I think today this is the lesson we are going to. Sorry, this is the lesson we are arranged today. We give some introduction and run some plays, and you can download those codes and you can try it. If you want any advanced lessons, we can make another lesson. Actually, this is very introduction session. So this is the first time I also give some webinar session using these tools. Actually, previously. Anyway, so this is my night time. So now time is 12. So anyway, David, I think we can close this session now. So if you want to ask any question, you can ask. If Amila want to do something, so we can do it.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Kasun, for your contribution. I know it is damn late for you, and so
Yeah,
your
okay.
contribution to AI is like magnificent. So, and I would like to appreciate your efforts and coordination with Amila to make this happen, and sharing your knowledge on behalf of DevOps.lk. So guys, so if you have any issues with these lab sessions, so etc., what you can do is you have two options. So if you like to retain your questions within our community, what you can do is you can raise an issue within GitHub repository for GitHub repository. Let me show you. Okay. I think I am also having some issue with screen sharing. So can you see my screen?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah. So within here you can see this GitHub repository. Under this GitHub repository, you can have issues. So if you're having any issue with this what we call training playbooks, you can raise an issue over here, so that Amila, Kasun, or other Ansible expert will help you to go through with those issues, and they will help you to resolve those issues. And and thank you very much, all of you for joining this session over here today. And so I'm willing to see you at our next session also. And I would like to thank you, Kasun and Amila, for their contribution. So let's see with another presentation, another learning activity with devs.lk. So keep in touch with us. Please comment and subscribe to our channel. So we'll let you know about new technologies, and we'll give full complexibility, or what to call full understand. We'll try to give full understanding about these technologies and how you will adapt into your day-to-day works. So let me finish this broadcast now, and have a good weekend, guys, and goodbye. Thanks.
Yes, guys.